You have been in journalism for the past 30 years. Is there a particular aspect which you think have changed drastically in the way people perceive journalism?
I think that the digital revolution, it is really a revolution in the way that we receive our news, disseminate our news, obtain our news and cover it. I think it's a revolution which some commentators have compared to the printing press revolution of the 15th and 16th century in Europe. And so there's much, much more, and it goes much, much further, reaches more corners than ever before. I would say that in all my time in working in the media, that this has been the biggest change that I have seen. And does more mean better? Or does it mean more is worse? I personally think that more is better, that the free flow of information is a wonderful thing, that now it's much harder to try to disguise atrocities that are happening, because anybody with a mobile phone can quickly take pictures of protesters being beaten up or killed or whatever, and the next thing it's been posted on YouTube and everybody knows about it. It's much harder to have, election violence, because somebody will take a picture of ballot boxes being stuffed or whatever. So I think on the whole, sunlight is a strong antiseptic, and that's what the social media has done.
Do you think newspapers are on their way out?
Well, yes, the physical ones. Yeah, we know that, in the UK, even in the last 7 or 8 years, we've seen hundreds of local newspapers fold, and newspapers all over the world, even nationwide ones, are struggling because the advertising revenue, the classified pages that they relied on so much for their revenue, they're going elsewhere, they're going online and so on. So we have seen a collapse in the traditional source of income for newspapers in particular, which means that it is a struggle for survival. But I think it is survival of the fittest, and those that have survived are the ones that have adapted to the new age. So you see, Guardian Online and the Mail Online are the two biggest circulating on the web, online. So I think that, as I said, if you respond to these new challenges, you can actually thrive in this new community. But yes, the days of picking up a newspaper, print journalists, I have 4 children, they're teenagers, they all get their news through their gadgets, their mobile phones, their iPads and so on. I'm not sure they will be like their mother picking up a newspaper. I still like to have an old newspaper to read.
Yeah. You have interviewed a number of high-profile people, very famous worldwide. How do you prepare yourself? And secondly, who was the biggest challenge that you had to face?
Well, I think that, when it comes to preparation, I have been around obviously a long time, and I have a great interest and passion in global issues. I mean, I think that what has helped me is that my work is anchored in the fact that academically I studied politics and economics at university and also at postgraduate level. So I feel that I have a kind of framework that underpins a lot of the stories I cover. I have a great curiosity, but I think that the one thing that informs me, regardless of who I am interviewing, is the fact that people have got to be held to account. Global leaders who you interview are people who are there because they are supposed to be servants of the people, the ordinary person. And I think if you always approach it from that point of view, looking at the pyramid from the bottom down and up, and making sure that those points of views of those billions at the bottom of the pyramid are put to the people at the top, then it's very difficult for the person at the top who you're interviewing to wriggle out of an answer, as it were. In terms of who it's very difficult to interview, I don't know, I've interviewed so many fascinating people and people of great influence and so on. It's difficult to pick out one person. I would say that I value humour. Is a great way of communicating. I would say Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Desmond Tutu from South Africa, has is unusual in that he has a very serious agenda. He deals with very serious issues, but he has a very doesn't take himself seriously, has a nice light touch about the way he approaches matters. So I would say that that kind of person in a way almost presents quite a big challenge, because they can use humour to diffuse a difficult question. Somebody with great power who's revered, like the Dalai Lama again, is somebody who is quite self-effacing and will also accept that they have failings. So that kind of person is quite difficult to interview in a way, because they don't just suddenly become all very defensive. They diffuse a question with a bit of humour, or by saying, yes, I accept that criticism.